Hi guys, and welcome back here to the Dev Realm, and today we're going to be carrying on our website series. And if you guys remember, what we did in the last episode is that we just have set up the function, we have created a new list on the email octopus, and also we have created here our contact page. This is going to change, but we're going to be using AI here to interact with something that we call API. All right. So if you're new to programming, API, it thinks API like a way to create an action that's outside your game. So let's say you have to get let's say every time you go to Google Maps, using Google API to get your location. So that's a form of API. Because we don't have a database, I can't store this on my server. So what I have to do here is to use a service to store this. So before you can host this website, let's make sure our contact page is working properly, and then we can start to build other things. All right, so what we're gonna do here is that I have prepared a little function for us that will basically do that contact for us. And I want to go with you here line by line. This is also going to be available to download on the DevRealm website. So if you're following this on YouTube, I recommend you following this on the website, because you're going to have resources, and this is going to be available to download. So you don't have to do this part if you don't want. But anyway, just to give you a context what we're doing here, DigitalOcean, when we create a new function, it has all this function that allows us to run serverless functions on the server. And what we're going to be doing here is that we're going to be connecting DigitalOcean with the email octopus API to save our list. And then you're probably asking, sure, if you know a little bit programming, why can we not just send the data straight away to the API? The issue with that is that because we're sending from a client, is not safe, or there's like some we're not sending from a server, so the security problem doesn't allow us to send data locally to the email octopus. So we have to unfortunately create this extra layer, but also you guys learn how to create functions. But anyway, let me explain a little bit how this function works. So what we're doing here is that we have the email octopus configuration keys. So the first thing here is the list ID. So the list ID here, you get it by going to your list and going to the settings. So I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste it right here. Now you're probably asking, what is the API key? The API key is what allows us to talk with the service. So you're going to go here, we're going to go back to integrations and API, and I am going to go to manage. I'm going to create a new key, and I'm going to call this test digital. I'm going to hit create, and I have my key. So I'm going to copy that, and I am going to go here and I'm going to paste it right there. That key is only one-time thing, so if I refresh it, I won't be able to see. So you have to delete in order to create a new one. Anyway, now the next thing that we have is the email, we have the phone, and we have the message. So remember that we created those two fields here. So if I go back to my list, test, we have created here fields called phone and message. So here's where you would create more fields as well. So let's say if you want to pass the name, you can just copy and paste your name. Make sure you put a comma, and then you will create a new field called name. But I just want to use those fields for now. So now what do you do? If you keep looking down, basically we check if there's no email, otherwise you send a message. We validate the phone, make sure it's a number. We're not doing anything fancy. You don't need to do this if you don't want to. And then here we are posting using fetch to the endpoint API. The endpoint API, I get this from the email octopus. But anyway, I won't go to too many details how this is working. You guys can ask AI to figure out that. That actually is a nice way of learning. Just asking Claude or ChatGPT how this is working, what's fetch, what's each step of this. But anyway, so my purpose now is that I'm going to copy this code, all right? After you make sure you change all those endpoints and API keys, I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to go to DigitalOcean, I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to press save, all right? Now, this is going to allow us to ask ChatGPT, or in this case Claude, to give us a function to handle this data. And remember guys, AI works with context. So if you don't give any context, it doesn't know what it's trying to do. So I want to show how powerful context is. So I'm going to copy this function. I'm going to go back to ChatGPT here, or in our case Claude. I'm going to paste it. I do recommend you guys commenting out the keys here, but because this is test, I don't really care about my keys. So I do recommend you guys removing that. And I'm going to ask here, so based on this DigitalOcean function, this is the endpoint, right? The endpoint is what allows us to communicate with this. So I'm going to go back to DigitalOcean. I'm going to copy my endpoint. I'm going to paste it right here. I want to make my contact page send the user information using fetch information to this endpoint. Can you please help me update my component? And let's see what this Claude's gonna do. So probably what it's gonna do here is that it's gonna, you know, we could make it ourselves. We could go and add fetch, but our goal here is to make sure that we just make it faster, right? A faster development, get you guys focus on what it matters, like, which is the part of creating my website, adding the images and all that stuff. And this is more like this, it matters a lot, but with AI, we can use this to just remove this layer of, let's say, if you're struggling with that. All right. All right. So it's trying to do something here. So let's copy this. Let's copy this information. Let's go back to, let's say, our, I'm going to close this. I don't need it. Our contact component. I'm going to paste it and I'm going to save it. All right. And let's refresh this page. Let's see what's going to happen. So right now, you see that I have name, email, blah, 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 and all that stuff. So to test if this works, I'm going to put my name. I'm going to put a random email. All right. I'm going to put a random phone number, and I'm just going to say, this is a test message. All right. And I'm going to press send. So I'm going to make sure the network, I'm going to check what's going on in the network. If you don't know how to open this, I'm using Firefox, right? So you just right click and you press inspect and you go to network. All right. If you are on Mac, on Google Chrome, I recommend you just Googling that just to know how it works, because depending on the system, it changes a little bit. But anyway, now if I press send, look at that. So it's going to process the message. We got no errors, which is awesome. Now, if I go back to my email octopus, and if I go here to contacts, oh, look at that. We already have a user. If I click on the user, I have the phone number, and this is a test message, right? For example, now you guys are probably asking, okay, Mario, how do I add a new name? Like, how can I make sure the name is passed? So if you guys remember here, we are sending the name. I think the name is here. We're just not using that, right? And on the function here as well, on the serverless function, we do have a name. We're just not using it. So I'm just going to copy this code. I'm going to paste it on my VS Code to be easier to edit. We do have a name. As you can see, it's commented out. So I'm gonna add a comma here. I'm going to copy this line and paste it. And I'm just going to call name, right? And I think it needs to be capital. I don't remember. And then I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go back to here and press save. I'm going to go back to my email octopus fields, add a new field, and I'm going to name. All right. And I'm going to go to context. I'm just going to delete this guy. I don't need it. Actually, I'll create another one. Anyway, now I'm just going to refresh my page. And what we're going to be doing here is that we're going to be trying to send another email. So I'm going to call my name. I'm going to put my name test. I'm going to call test at gmail.com, whatever. we're gonna number this, I'm gonna press send. Now, if we did everything right, which we did, we have a successful message. And if I go back to my contact, look at that, we have a test email. And if I press it, I have the name, that, and that. At this point, you guys get it, right? You just add as many fields you want, and then you post to your contact form. And the cool thing about Email Octopus, this is not, by the way, this is not advertised, but then this is just a tool that I found really easy when I was building my website. You can use anything you want. But anyway, now that we have this information, this is awesome, amazing. How can we host our website? And that's the next part of this tutorial. So the next part of the tutorial, we're going to learn how to host a website and how to create a repo on GitHub. And then every time we push the code. And that's it, guys. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and I see you in the next one.